Dear Professor, my fellow classmates, my presentation is Chapter 13, Understanding the Process of Qualitative Data Collection. The process of qualitative data collection involves several steps. In this chapter, we will spend some time reviewing the types of data that might be collected and assessing the strengths and weaknesses of each form of data. Overall, there are 10 aspects we should learn, from rationale for using qualitative research to the use of protocols. Let's begin with a rationale for using qualitative research. The rationale would consist of mentioning the advantages of using qualitative research and drawing on the elements mentioned in Chapter 1 and 2, in which we review the characteristics of qualitative research and pay attention to the differences between qualitative and quantitative research. Qualitative research is used for exploration when we don't know the variables to measure or the questions to ask. We can listen to the actual words of a participant to obtain the best understanding of our central phenomenon. Often the settings where the research problem occurs is most important. Qualitative research also enables us to present a complex portrait of a project and present many different perspectives individuals might have on the topic. 2. Research site. We would mention the specific research site or place where the study will take place. Discuss this site and why it has been selected as an ideal site to study the problem. Again, in describing this site, present the broader picture and then narrow it. 3. Qualitative researchers take permissions quite seriously, and they often discuss the use of multiple permissions. Permission is needed from the IRB at an institution or company, from gatekeepers at sites where access is required to gather information, and from participants, and possibly the parents of participants when children is involved. In Chapter 7, we have discussed it. Here, a sample consent form used during data collection is shown in Figure 13.1, so please refer to it. It's important to look at the form closely. It contains 6 specific elements that need to go into an informed consent letter. 1. The right of participants to voluntarily withdraw from the study at any time. 2. The central purpose of study and procedures to be used in data collection. 3. Assurances of confidentiality for the respondents. 4. The known risks associated with participation. 5. The expected benefits to accrue to participants. 6. The signature of the participants as well as the researcher. Alternatively, these elements can be covered in a question and answer format for the IRB informed consent documents. Each section poses a question with the same elements listed previously. The informed consent headings in question format might look like this. Equally important is seeking permission to have access to research sites. It's important that you are permitted to enter the site, be aware of what your presence at the site will require. According to Borden and Beckland's suggestion, the following information will be helpful. Why was the site chosen for the study? What will be done at the site? How much time will be spent? Will the researcher's presence be disruptive? How will the results be reported? And what will the gatekeeper, the participants, and the site gain from the study? It's suggestible that researchers address each of these questions in writing and supply the participants at the site with the useful information. 4. Qualitative researchers often have to recruit participants to be involved in qualitative projects. This recruitment may require placing ads in newspapers, contacting sites, sending out letters, or playing flyers about the project and asking for recruits. IRBs often require that researchers supply information about how their participants will be recruited to the projects. The actual flyers or notices to be posted need to be filed with the IRB. Pay attention to that. The flyers or simple infographics of your study can be easily found in the two websites with free students and trial versions. Sometimes, multiple recruitment methods are used in qualitative research until the desired number of people has agreed to be in a project. An easy way to reach a large number of people is through an invitation sent through email or web-based service like listserv. This figure provides an example of the email invitation sent to recruit participants for a qualitative interview. It's worth noting that snowball or chain sampling can be a very helpful way to recruit participants. Of course, these approaches require attention to ethics and the nature of the relation with the participants. 5. Purposeful sampling. Purposeful sampling is the process of selecting participants for a qualitative project by recruiting individuals who can help inform the central phenomenon in a study. It involves three components: making decisions about whom to be selected as participants, the sampling strategy to use, and the number of individuals for the sample. It's important to select individuals for a study who have experienced the phenomenon, and the pool of individuals may be quite large. You need to use a sampling strategy to select individuals. It's not enough to simply purposely sample. You need to convey the specific sampling strategy you plan on using. And these options in Table 13.1 have been identified and presented their overall purposes. For example, as you see from the table, maximal variation samplings. It contains of determining in advance some criterion that differentiates the size of participants and then selecting size or participants that are quite different on that criterion. Other sampling strategies frequently used are critical cases, which provide specific information about a problem, and convenience sampling, the choice of participants who volunteer or are available to engage in the study. With regards to the sample size, it's determined by several factors: the complexity of the phenomenon being studied, the type of qualitative design you are using, the richness and the extensive use of data, and the resources being used. When planning a study, it's helpful to examine similar studies and consider your resource constraints. When you're collecting your data, pay close attention to whether and when you begin to hear the same data from participants over and over again. In qualitative research, the idea is to explore a topic in depth. If data begins to repeat and you are not hearing the new information, your sample size is likely adequate.